Imam Jafar al-Sadiq once told his student Jabir ibn Hayyan, "If you truly understood the letter Ba, you would know everything there is to know about existence." Jabir spent the rest of his life trying to understand that single letter. He became the father of chemistry in the process, discovering principles of matter and transformation that modern science is still validating. But he never claimed to fully grasp what Imam Jafar meant by that one letter. This is al-Huruf, the science of letters, and it's one of the most closely guarded secrets in Islamic mysticism. Imam Jafar taught that the Arabic alphabet is not just a tool for communication. Each letter is a metaphysical principle, a building block of reality itself. Master the letters and you master the structure of existence. Understand their relationships and you understand how the universe operates. Know their secrets and you gain access to knowledge that appears miraculous to those who don't have the key. Today, I'll reveal what Imam Jafar actually taught about the science of letters. Not the numerology you find in pop spirituality books, not the superstitious talismans sold by frauds, but the genuine metaphysical science that explains why the Quran was revealed in Arabic, why certain letters appear at the beginning of specific surahs, and how reality itself is constructed from primordial sounds. The foundation, letters before language. Imam Jafar began his teaching with a distinction most people never consider. He said letters existed before language. Before humans arranged them into words to communicate with each other, the letters already existed as principles in divine knowledge. They are not human inventions. They are divine realities that humans discovered and gave names to. He taught that when Allah wanted to create the universe, He didn't create matter first and then impose order on it. He created through letters, through sounds, through vibrations that solidified into form. The Quran confirms this principle. Be and it is, kun fayakun. Allah speaks and reality manifests. But what is speech? Speech is letters arranged in specific patterns, animated by breath, producing sound, and that sound creates. Imam Jafar identified 28 letters in the Arabic alphabet and said these 28 correspond to fundamental building blocks of existence. Just as modern science discovered that all matter is built from a finite number of elements, Imam Jafar taught that all reality is built from these 28 primordial principles. Every object, every concept, every experience is a combination of letters at the metaphysical level before it becomes a thing at the physical level. He gave an example that his students recorded. Look at water. The Arabic word is ma'a, written with the letters mim and alif. But before there was a word for water, there was the reality of water. That reality is not separate from the letters that compose its name. The mim carries the principle of materiality, substance, that which can be contained. The alif carries the principle of source, origin, vertical connection to the divine. Water is literally the manifestation of these two principles combining, materiality connected to divine source. This is why water is both of earth and of heaven, both physical and purifying. He taught that creation happened in stages of letters. First came Alif, the first letter, representing the absolute singular divine unity before creation. From Alif emerged Ba, the first letter of multiplicity, the first step from oneness into manyness. Ba is the first letter of Bismillah ir-Rahman ir-Rahim, not by accident, but by metaphysical necessity. Creation begins with Ba, because Ba is the principle of beginning, of separation from source while remaining connected to source. The structure, the 4 elemental groups. Imam Jafar organized the 28 letters into 4 groups of 7, and he taught that these 4 groups correspond to the 4 elements that medieval science recognized: fire, air, water, and earth. But his understanding of elements was not primitive chemistry. Elements in this context are states of being, modes of manifestation, ways that divine reality takes form. The fire letters are those produced with heat and intensity from the throat and deep in the mouth. These letters carry the energy of transformation, destruction that leads to purification, passion, and divine power. When you recite these letters, you're invoking the fire principle. This is why certain divine names containing fire letters have a particular effect. They burn away obstacles, they transform states, they create sudden change. The air letters are those produced with breath moving freely, with less material resistance. These letters carry the principle of spirit, movement, communication, and connection. Air is the element that carries messages, that connects separate things, that animates what is otherwise still. The air letters in a name or word indicate its capacity for movement and change, for carrying meaning from one realm to another. The water letters flow. They're produced with the tongue in fluid positions. They pour from the mouth. These letters carry the principle of life, nourishment, emotion, and purification. Water is the element of adaptability. It takes the shape of whatever contains it, yet never loses its essential nature. The water letters in divine names indicate mercy, blessing, provision, the flowing of grace. The earth letters are heavy, grounded, produced with the lips fully engaged or the tongue pressed firmly. These letters carry the principle of manifestation, stability, materiality, and completion. Earth is where spirit takes solid form, where ideas become things, where potential becomes actual. The earth letters anchor divine realities into physical expression. Imam Jafar taught that every word is a combination of these elements, and understanding which elements dominate in a word reveals its inner nature. A word heavy with earth letters will manifest physical results. A word dominated by fire letters will create transformation. A word balanced among all 4 elements will produce harmonious, complete effects. This is why the Quran's language is so precisely calibrated. Every word is elementally balanced to create the exact effect intended. The secret of Ba. Imam Jafar devoted special attention to the letter Ba, and this is the teaching that Jabir ibn Hayyan spent his life trying to penetrate. He said Ba is the first letter of creation, the first step from divine unity into manifestation. When Allah wanted to create, He began with Ba. The Ba is the point where infinite possibility becomes specific actuality. The physical shape of Ba in Arabic is significant. It's a horizontal line with a single dot beneath it. Imam Jafar taught that the line represents the threshold between the unseen realm and the manifest realm. The dot represents the first point of manifestation, the concentrated divine will creating a single thing. Everything in existence is that dot, one point of divine attention solidifying into form. He taught that Ba contains within it the principles of duality and relationship. Before Ba, there is only Alif, which is pure unity, absolute oneness. But Ba introduces the concept of two, the creator and the created, the speaker and the spoken, the knower and the known, This is not duality in the sense of separation. It's duality in the sense of relationship. Ba makes relationship possible by creating the appearance of two-ness, while the underlying reality remains one. This is why Bismillah begins with Biya. When you say Bismillah, you're invoking the principle of manifestation itself. You're calling upon the creative force that brings potential into actuality. You're aligning your intention with the same letter principle that Allah used to create the universe. This is not symbolic, it's operational. The Ba activates creation. Imam Jafar also taught that Ba has numerical value of 2, and this 2 is the foundation of all mathematics, all science, all systematic knowledge. From 2 comes 3, 2 plus 1. From 3 comes 4, 2 times 2. All numbers emerge from the principle contained in Ba. This is why Jabir ibn Hayyan, studying under Imam Jafar, discovered that matter operates according to mathematical principles. He was applying the teaching of Ba to physical substances. The secret Imam Jafar revealed to his closest students was this: the Ba is not just the first letter of creation, it's the principle by which you can create. When you understand Ba fully, you understand how to bring things from potential into manifestation. You understand how to speak things into being. This doesn't mean magic in the superstitious sense. It means aligning your consciousness with the creative principle so completely that your speech carries creative power, the mystery of Alif. While Ba is the letter of creation, Alif is the letter of the Creator. Imam Jafar taught that Alif represents pure vertical connection, unmanifest potential, absolute unity before any division. The shape of Alif in Arabic is a single vertical line, and Imam Jafar said this line is the axis around which all other letters revolve. He taught that Alif has no sound of its own. It's silent, or takes the sound of whatever vowel is placed with it. This soundlessness is crucial. It represents the divine essence which cannot be spoken, cannot be grasped by language, remains beyond all description. Yet paradoxically, Alif is necessary for all other letters to have meaning. You cannot write a complete Arabic word without vowels, and vowels exist only in relation to Alif. The numerical value of Alif is 1, and Imam Jafar said this one contains all other numbers within it. From 1 comes 2, 1 plus 1. From 1 comes infinity, 1 divided into smaller and smaller pieces. All mathematics is implicit in the number 1. Similarly, all letters are implicit in Alif. All creation is implicit in divine unity. Nothing exists outside of the One. Everything is the One expressing itself in multiple forms. Imam Jafar taught a practice involving Alif that he gave only to advanced students. He instructed them to sit in meditation and visualize the Alif as a line of light running from the earth through their body into the heavens. The bottom of the Alif touches the material world. The top extends into infinity. The human being is the Alif, grounded in physicality, reaching toward the divine, serving as the connection between above and below. He said, when you truly embody the Alif, you become the vertical axis of your own universe. Everything in your life organizes around this central point of connection to the divine. Circumstances that seemed chaotic suddenly reveal their pattern. Questions that seemed unanswerable resolve themselves. You stop being pulled horizontally by desires and fears, and you move vertically toward your source. The mystery letters, Alif Lam Mim and others. 29 surahs in the Quran begin with mysterious letters that have no obvious meaning. Alif Lam Mim, Hamim, Yasin, Taha, and others. Scholars have debated their meaning for 14 centuries. Imam Jafar gave an explanation that only his inner circle received. He taught that these letters are keys. Each combination unlocks a specific level of meaning in the surah that follows. When you recite these letters with understanding, you're not just making sounds. You're activating metaphysical principles that open your consciousness to receive what the surah contains. Take Alif Lam Mim, which begins Surah al-Baqarah. Imam Jafar taught that Alif represents divine unity, Lam represents divine connection and direction, and Mim represents materialization and manifestation. Together, these three letters create a formula: divine unity, directing its connection to create material manifestation. This is the theme of Surah al-Baqarah, how divine guidance, unity, connects to humanity, direction, and establishes law and order, manifestation. He taught that if you recite Alif Lam Mim while consciously invoking these three principles, unity, connection, manifestation, the surah that follows will reveal layers of meaning that remain hidden to those who recite the letters unconsciously. The letters are like a combination lock. You have to know what they represent to unlock what's inside. For Yasin, Imam Jafar explained that Ya represents divine address, the calling of attention, the personal connection between Allah and the individual soul. Sin represents divine power and protection. Together, Yasin means, "O you soul being addressed by divine power and protection." The entire surah that follows is about the soul's journey, resurrection, and divine protection through death and rebirth. The opening letters announce the theme before the verses elaborated. He warned his students never to recite these letters mechanically or use them in superstitious talismans. The letters have power, but power without understanding is dangerous. It's like giving someone the keys to a nuclear reactor without teaching them what the keys unlock. The letters can activate forces that an unprepared consciousness cannot handle. The numerical dimension, Abjad, and cosmic mathematics. Imam Jafar taught extensively about the numerical values of letters, a system called Abjad. Each letter has a number. Alif is 1, Ba is 2, Jim is 3, and so on. He said these numbers are not arbitrary assignments. They reflect the ontological weight, the degree of manifestation, the position in the hierarchy of creation that each letter occupies. He taught that words with the same numerical value share a hidden relationship. They're connected at a level deeper than meaning, connected in the mathematics of existence itself. For example, if two different words have a total letter value of 66, there's a reason. They're expressing the same principle through different forms, or they're complementary aspects of one reality. But Imam Jafar warned strongly against the popular misuse of letter numerology. He said calculating the numerical value of names and using that to predict the future or manipulate events is mostly superstition. The numbers matter, but not in the simplistic way charlatans use them. The real science is understanding what each number represents as a principle, then seeing how those principles combine in words to create meaning. He gave the example of the name Muhammad, peace be upon him. The numerical value totals 92. But this number's significance is not in fortune-telling. It's in understanding what the principle of 92 represents. A specific configuration of divine attributes manifesting in human form. A particular ratio of mercy to power, of accessibility to transcendence. The number is a signature of the prophetic reality, not a magic code. Imam Jafar taught that everything in the universe has a numerical signature, and these signatures interact mathematically. When two things whose signatures are harmonious come together, they strengthen each other. When two things whose signatures clash meet, they create discord. This is the hidden mathematics beneath what we call compatibility, resonance, or conflict. He taught his students to calculate the numerical value of their own names, not to predict their future, but to understand their essential nature. Your name is not accidental. It was given to you, or chosen by you, according to a pattern that reflects who you are at the soul level. Understanding your name's number helps you understand what you came here to manifest. Imam Jafar's most practical teaching was about how to use this knowledge. He taught that recitation of letters, words, and especially divine names is not just devotion, it's a creative act. When you recite consciously, understanding what you're saying at the letter level, you're not just making sounds. You're activating principles, invoking realities, reshaping your consciousness, and even affecting the world around you. He gave a specific practice for this. Choose one divine name that addresses what you need. If you need provision, choose Ar-Razak. If you need healing, choose Ash-Shafi. If you need knowledge, choose Al-Alim. Don't just repeat the name mechanically. Break it down into its letters. Understand what each letter represents. Feel each letter as you pronounce it, knowing you're invoking a primordial principle. For example, with Ar-Razak, the provider, the letter Ra carries the principle of flow and return. The letter Za carries the principle of increase and multiplication. The letter Qaf carries the principle of power and establishment. When you say Ar-Razak, while consciously feeling flow, multiplication, and established power, you're not asking for provision. You're aligning yourself with the principle of provision itself. Imam Jafar taught that this kind of conscious recitation changes the reciter before it changes circumstances. The provision you receive might not be money or food. It might be the realization that you're already provided for, that you've been sustained every moment of your life without your own effort, that the universe is fundamentally generous. This realization is the real provision. It ends the anxiety of lack permanently. He also taught about the power of combining letters intentionally. Advanced students would be given specific letter combinations to recite for specific purposes. These weren't random. They were based on understanding which principles needed to be activated and in what sequence. A combination for healing might activate letters of purification, then transformation, then stability, creating a sequence that cleanses, changes, and establishes health. But he gave a stern warning. Never use this knowledge to manipulate others or to pursue selfish goals. The letters are sacred. They're the building blocks of divine creation. Using them for ego purposes is like trying to rewrite reality according to your limited understanding, instead of aligning with divine wisdom. It might work temporarily, but it always backfires because you're creating imbalance in the cosmic order. The deepest teaching Imam Jafar gave about the science of letters is this: you yourself are a word spoken by Allah. Your entire being, body, soul, personality, destiny, is a specific combination of letters in divine speech. You are not an object that exists independently. You are an utterance in the ongoing conversation Allah is having with Himself. He taught that understanding your own letter composition is the key to understanding your purpose. Some people are words of mercy. Their entire existence softens what it touches. Others are words of power. They transform everything they encounter. Some are words of knowledge, illuminating what was dark. Some are words of beauty, bringing harmony to chaos. The question Imam Jafar posed was, what word are you? Not what word you want to be or think you should be, but what word you actually are in divine speech. This is your essence, your truth, your function in the cosmos. When you discover this and align with it, everything becomes effortless. You stop fighting your nature and start expressing it purely. He taught that most people spend their lives trying to be different words than they actually are. A word of gentleness tries to become a word of power. A word of contemplation tries to become a word of action. This creates suffering because you're fighting the principle encoded in your very being. The path is not changing what word you are. It's becoming that word perfectly, pronouncing yourself clearly, expressing what you were created to express. And here's the ultimate secret. When you fully become the word you are, when you pronounce yourself perfectly, you discover that all words are actually one word spoken from different positions. The apparent multiplicity of words is the one divine speech knowing itself through infinite expressions. You are a unique word, and you are the same word that speaks all words. Both are true simultaneously. Imam Jafar al-Sadiq taught the science of letters to show that reality is not random matter obeying blind laws. Reality is meaning, structure, intelligence expressing itself through patterns that can be read, understood, and consciously participated in. The letters are the grammar of existence. Learn the grammar and you can read the book of reality. Master the grammar and you can write new sentences within it. This is not magic. This is metaphysics, the science of what underlies physics, the principles that govern manifestation before physical laws take effect. Modern science studies the physical results. Al-Huruf studies the metaphysical causes. Both are valid, both are necessary, but one operates at a more fundamental level than the other. Imam Jafar never wrote this teaching down in systematic form because he knew it would be misunderstood and misused. He taught it orally to students he trusted, students who had purified their intentions and proven their wisdom. What survives in writing are fragments, hints, pieces of a complete science that must be reconstructed through sincere seeking and divine guidance. But the principles remain accessible to anyone willing to approach them with humility and patience. Study the letters. Contemplate their shapes, their sounds, their positions, their relationships. Notice what letters appear in words that matter to you. Break down divine names to their letter components. Pay attention to which letters you naturally resonate with and which ones you avoid. The universe is speaking to you in letters right now. The question is whether you've learned to read